The year is 1947. After nearly 200 years of British rule, the Indian subcontinent stands on the edge of history. Millions celebrate the end of colonial rule. But behind the celebrations lies a growing fear. Religious tensions between Hindus and Muslims have reached dangerous levels. Political leaders struggle to find a solution. The result is partition. Two new nations are born, India and Pakistan. The border is drawn in haste. Entire villages wake up in a different country. Families who have lived together for generations are suddenly separated. What follows becomes one of the largest migrations in human history. More than 10 million people cross the new borders. Violence erupts across Punjab and Bengal. Hundreds of thousands lose their lives. The wounds of partition will shape relations between India and Pakistan for decades. At the center of the future conflict lies a beautiful mountainous region, Jammu and Kashmir, a land that both nations claim, a land that will ignite the First War. October 1947. The princely state of Jammu and Kashmir remains undecided. Its ruler, Maharaja Hari Singh, has not joined either country, but events move rapidly. Tribal fighters from Pakistan's northwest frontier enter Kashmir. The Maharaja seeks military help from India. India agrees on one condition. Kashmir must accede to India. The accession document is signed. Indian troops are airlifted into Srinagar. The First India-Pakistan War begins. Fierce battles rage across mountains, valleys, and remote villages. Both armies struggle in harsh terrain. Winter freezes entire battlefields. Despite the conditions, neither side is willing to retreat. By 1948, the conflict has expanded across multiple sectors. The newly formed armies fight for control of strategic roads, mountain passes, and towns. As casualties rise, international concern grows. The matter reaches the newly formed United Nations. The UN calls for a ceasefire. On the 1st of January 1949, the guns fall silent. The ceasefire line divides Kashmir. India controls roughly two-thirds of the territory. Pakistan controls the remainder. Neither side is satisfied. The Kashmir dispute remains unresolved. The First War ends. The rivalry continues. Nearly 2 decades later, tensions rise once again. Both countries have strengthened their militaries. The unresolved Kashmir dispute remains the central issue. In August 1965, Pakistan launches Operation Gibraltar. The objective is to encourage an uprising in Kashmir. India responds with military action. The conflict quickly escalates into a full-scale war. For the first time since independence, large tank battles take place. Armored columns clash across Punjab. Jets roar across the skies. Artillery pounds enemy positions. One of the largest tank battles since World War II occurs near Chowinda. Both nations claim battlefield successes. Cities experience air raids. Civilian populations prepare for emergencies. As the fighting intensifies, international powers become concerned. The Cold War is underway. Neither the United States nor the Soviet Union wants the conflict to grow. Under international pressure, a ceasefire is arranged. In January 1966, leaders meet in Tashkent. The resulting agreement becomes known as the Tashkent Declaration. The war ends, but peace remains fragile. The most decisive conflict between India and Pakistan begins not in Kashmir, but in East Pakistan. Thousands of kilometers separate East and West Pakistan. Political tensions grow after elections. Demands for autonomy increase. Violence erupts. Millions of refugees flee into India. The humanitarian crisis becomes severe. By December 1971, war breaks out. India enters the conflict on the side of Bengali forces. The fighting occurs on both eastern and western fronts. In the east, Indian forces advance rapidly. Pakistani positions collapse under coordinated attacks. Within just 13 days, the war reaches its conclusion. On the 16th of December, 1971, Pakistani forces in Dhaka surrender. A new nation is born, Bangladesh. It is one of the shortest major wars in modern history. For Pakistan, it is a painful national trauma. For India, it is a significant military victory. The geopolitical map of South Asia changes forever. The world's highest battlefield, a frozen wilderness of ice and rock, the Siachen Glacier. In 1984, India launches Operation Meghdoot. Indian troops occupy key heights overlooking the glacier. Pakistan responds. Both sides establish military positions at extreme altitudes. Temperatures plunge below -50 degrees Celsius. Avalanches become as deadly as bullets. Many soldiers die from weather and altitude rather than combat. For decades, troops remain stationed on the glacier. The conflict becomes a symbol of endurance and sacrifice. The rivalry enters a dangerous new phase. In 1974, India conducts its first nuclear test. Pakistan accelerates its own nuclear program. In 1998, both countries conduct nuclear tests. South Asia now contains 2 declared nuclear powers. The balance of power changes dramatically. Future wars will carry new risks. The world watches closely. Any major conflict now has the potential for catastrophic consequences. Summer ettusen on ni hundrede on neo halfems. High in the mountains of Kashmir, a new crisis emerges. Indian patrols discover armed infiltrators occupying strategic peaks near Kargil. The positions overlook important supply routes. India launches military operations to recapture them. The fighting takes place at extreme altitude. Soldiers climb steep cliffs under enemy fire. Artillery shells echo through the mountains. Air power is used carefully due to the sensitive international situation. The conflict attracts global attention. Both nations possess nuclear weapons. International pressure grows. After weeks of intense fighting, Pakistani forces withdraw from many positions. India regains key peaks. By July 1999, the conflict largely ends. The Kargil War becomes one of the most closely watched conflicts in modern South Asian history. The years after, Kargil remained tense. Several major crises bring the two nations close to war. The 2001 attack on the Indian Parliament, the 2008 Mumbai attacks, the 2016 Uri attack, the 2019 Pulwama attack, and subsequent air operations. Military forces mobilize. Diplomatic tension rise. Yet neither side crosses the threshold into a prolonged conventional war. Nuclear deterrence influences decision-making. The cost of escalation becomes too high. Wars are often measured in territory gained or lost, but the true cost is carried by people, soldiers who never return home, families separated by borders, communities divided by conflict, generations raised in uncertainty. On both sides of the border, ordinary citizens share similar hopes: security, prosperity, education, a better future for their children. Yet decades of mistrust continue to shape relations. Today, India and Pakistan remain neighbors. They share history, culture, languages, traditions, and a complicated past. The Kashmir issue remains unresolved. Military forces remain vigilant. Diplomatic relations fluctuate between dialogue and tension. Yet the future is not predetermined. History shows how wars begin. The challenge for future generations is learning how they can end. Because the greatest victory is not winning a war. The greatest victory is preventing one.